Ron, thanks for taking time for us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit of your own background and how you came to the company here. Did you grow up in this area?
I grew up in Owensboro. Been here all my life, except when I went to University of Kentucky.
What did you study there?
Business.
Oh, okay. And what were your thoughts about your career when you were growing up, your ambition?
Oh, it was just in business. Just to find a job in business.
Hmm. And so, how did you find this place?
My brother-in-law worked here,
Oh,
so
okay.
he suggested I come over. That was 44 years ago.
Wow.
And the first day I was here, I said, I got to get out of this place because of the noise. But you get used to it. And it's not really that loud, but it's just something different.
That's funny. That's your first impression.
Hmm.
So, what year was that you started?
That was 1978, I believe.
Is that right? Wow. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
So besides the noise, what was your impression of the company?
Well, I liked it. The people here, it's like a family. So, and back then we had three divisions. We had assembly, parts, and a wire division. Our company actually moved here from Pennsylvania back in the 60s.
Okay.
They built a GE plant here that had like 6,500 workers, and we only had one customer, and that was General Electric. And we made the wire for the vacuum tubes.
For television.
Hmm.
Wow. Very interesting.
And for the military.
Oh, okay. Where was that plant located?
It's at 9th and Frederica. Not 9th and Frederica, but 9th and it's over there.
That's a
It's
lot
on,
of,
yeah.
that's a lot of employees.
Yes. And they actually had another GE plant here also. That was they different application was building engines,
Okay.
small motors.
Well,
But then that went away, and we always have to adapt. So we went into EDM wire, and
what is that?
that was back in early '80s also.
Okay.
And then in the early '80s, two reps were in a bar in Chicago, and they said after a couple of drinks, they said there's something in here that we should be able to sell. So they had another drink, and then the band came on, and they said strings, and that was before Google or anything. So they had to track us down. They called us and said, "Can you make strings?" We said, "Sure." They had no idea how to do it. We said, "Sure," and that's how we got into the business.
Is that right?
Hmm.
That's interesting.
And back then, the major customer back then was Dean Markley. They're no longer ongoing concern, but they were used. They were purchasing like 60,000 pounds a month from us.
Is that right? So those two reps that met in the bar, they weren't associated with the company beforehand?
No,
Oh, okay.
and we gave them commission till they died.
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Do you
yes,
happen to remember them?
sure. It was Jack Norley and Lynn Felder. Felder was from Chicago, and Norley was from New York.
What did they normally rep? Wire? Or
I'm not really. I don't
were they in the
remember.
music business? Or
No, no, no. That was just a
that was a fluke little
fluke
idea
thing.
they
Yes.
had.
Uh huh.
Wow, that's
Hmm.
crazy. What a good story.
Yeah,
Put you guys in a different path.
sure did.
So did you have to retool anything in the factory for this?
No, we had to buy additional equipment. It takes a lot of annealing equipment to produce that much.
Hmm.
And we're talking probably like 7 or 8 alloys for the music industry. The biggest being nickel plate steel.
And the trick, as I understand, is the stretching and the heating of it.
Oh yes. What we used to say is we take a 6 inches of the size of my finger, and we can stretch it 16 miles.
Huh.
But that's not for music. That would have to be down to a smaller size like 001. But
Very interesting.
and then for music we went into aerospace and medical. So just keep branching out.
Yeah. What sort of stuff do you do for medical?
We do surgical needles for eye operations. We used to do a lot of the where they staple the staples when they stapled you up, internal and external. But that's declining because they're gluing you together now. And we do the wire for hip replacements. Still do that. That's a big thing for us.
Wow. Well, you've seen a lot of changes, haven't you?
Now, our biggest thing today is aerospace.
Is that right? What sort of stuff do you do for them?
We make breast seal wire for them, and there's other applications that I'm not get into.
Yeah. Interesting. So how has your position changed since you first got here? What was your first gig?
My first gig was working in assembly.
Okay.
And then I switched over to the wire department, and I was production manager for years, and now I'm vice president.
Wow. So what does your position entail now?
I just oversee the day-to-day operations and long-term planning. We are now focusing on automation. It's very hard to find and keep employees since COVID happened. So we're trying to automate as much as possible.
What does that entail?
New equipment.
Yeah.
We have it on order. We bought the first 3, but it's been like a year and a half. They're late on it, so we're hopefully get it in the next 6 weeks, and then once we get them and in place, we'll probably order some more, as long as they work like they're supposed to be working.
Is there a process, especially in thinking about the strings, where hands-on is still needed?
Oh yes, you're still going to need hands-on, just hopefully not as much.
Yeah. What processes are those?
Well, that would be everything we do in drawing. You know, even though it's automated, you're still going to have to, at some point, you know, thread the machines up for sure. And even though I've got automatic spoolers, you're still going to have to load and unload the machines eventually.
Very interesting. I think it's cool that there's so many folks that have been here so long.
Oh, yes. Yes, we had all of our employees stayed for like 30 years plus. Everybody in the whole building. I mean, they just did. And then once COVID hit, everything kind of changed. And the new ones, they just come and work a couple weeks and you never hear from them. And it's just not our company. It's across the street everywhere. They're just complaining about the same.
Yeah, I've heard that time and time again. And I think what people fail to see is that the company invests a lot of money in training in those first few weeks.
Oh, yes. You know, we pay for physicals before they even start. So, I mean, we've gone through a lot of that. Just
how do we avoid that? I guess the answer is automation.
That's all I can think of now.
Oh, that's a shame, huh?
Hopefully it'll change in the future, the employees, but
there also must be a sense of pride of creating product here in the United States.
Oh, yes. Very much so. And there's a lot of wire mills that's closed down in the last 30 and 40 years. Just like manufacturing, you know, other manufacturing, they just all go overseas.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. We were talking to Bob earlier, and he said, you know, the company started with wire for radio that doesn't exist anymore, the tubes, and then television, and you explain that doesn't exist anymore. But you guys keep finding new ways to have.
We were the largest manufacturer of EDM wire in the world. This is like transformation. It's just like, and we went to Japan to buy automated equipment, came back, and they were selling EDM wire cheaper than we could buy raw material. So, you know, we just had to get out of that also. But it's just like, we subsidize food in the United States. We, you know, even overseas, you know, we subsidize that. They subsidize metal. So you can't compete with that.
So how do you compete?
We just have to find our niche markets and go from there.
Yeah, it's been neat to see, talking to Kathy about the growth in the strings. It wasn't just Dean Markley that you guys worked with.
No, we sold to every major manufacturer and all the little mom and pop stores all around the world.
Very cool.
And it's nice to go to NAMM because that's one place you can meet everybody.
Do you remember your first NAMM show?
Not really. It's been so long. It's back in the early '80s. I don't really remember. And I remember Nashville used to be big too, but it's really small now. Even if I don't even know if they still have it.
We're hoping to come back.
Back.
We really are hoping.
I think they messed up when they left Nashville and wandered several places, years ago, and then just never been the same.
Yeah, and I always forget. Was it because the convention center was being built that we needed to move?
I'm not sure.
Remember.
I
Yeah.
don't
But
know.
you're right. That was a misstep.
Mhm.
However it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Indianapolis and then Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Yeah, and then it took a long time for it to come back to Nashville.
But all conventions today are smaller than they were
Mhm.
before COVID. I don't know, no matter what industry, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But we're excited about January, that's for sure.
I remember they used to have over 100,000 people at those shows.
Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Any favorite memories at NAMM?
Oh, I've seen, saw Stevie Wonder one time. He was right next to me. He was looking at harmonicas, of all things. Yeah.
And it's also a neat way to get together with your friends.
Oh, yes.
You don't see usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I love about NAMM the most, I think. Very, very cool. Go ahead.
It's a very loud place when you have that many musicians in there playing all at once at the same time.
Especially if you get over to the drums.
Yes.
Suzanne, did you have a thought to add?
Yeah, do you have any comments about just the company culture, the feel, your coworkers?
Even today, it's more like it's just a family place to work, and we need to keep it like that because everybody spends most of their time at work more than at home. So you need a nice place to work.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
Yes, very important.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to run 24 hours a day, so it's hard to staff the second and third shift because the culture for the young kids, they don't want to work second or third, so it's presenting a problem.
Mm. So you guys never shut down?
No, well, on weekends.
Oh, okay.
Sunday usually.
Wow.
Some Saturdays we work, but we don't work as many Saturdays as we used to because it was just wearing the employees out. Or we need to, but we just.
Have you ever tried 12-hour shifts?
Yeah, we thought about it, but it just doesn't work for us.
Mm.
You spend 2 or 3 days sleeping, recovering, and then...
Yes, but it would require more people.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Now we don't swing shift. If you get on a shift, you stay there. And if a senior person wants to bump you off, they have to do it for 6 months. So it's not an everyday thing.
Oh, gotcha.
But that doesn't happen that often.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Anything
Okay.
else you want to make sure we
No.
add?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.